Part 37. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Ken Ryu Xiahua. Chapter 361. She didn't believe that she was the kind of person Li Yuan said, but through Wang Yuchen's shadow, she had to believe it. Perhaps, it was because of herself that Li Yuan, a man who had pursued her for 7 years, became a playboy. Just as he said before, he had been hurt by love and no longer believed in love. But he still had me in his heart, and was willing to accept me and didn't leave me. Bai Wuxi looked at Wang Yuchen's face, thinking of her current emotional entanglement with Suji, just like herself and Li Yuan in the story, and gave a serious advice. Yuchen, I think Suji is very good to you. I hope you don't miss this relationship and make yourself regret it in the future. Wang Yuchen's head was confused when he heard it. Did you suddenly cry for my relationship with Suji? If she didn't know the emotional journey of her best friend and Li Yuan, she would have suspected that Bai Wuxi was secretly in love with Suji. Wang Yuchen quickly drove away this crazy idea. I don't think much of Suji, and Bai Wuxi is even less likely to think so. Is Suji even a little bit comparable to Li Yuan? Wang Yuchen frowned. Xiaobai, why are you talking about this? Are you crying because I complained about Suji? Bai Wuxi shook his head slightly and sighed. I just felt it and reminded you seriously to cherish the person in front of you and don't regret it in the future. Wang Yuchen replied nonchalantly, what can I regret? In our school, there are a lot of boys chasing me. There are several seniors who are really outstanding. They are native to Shanghai and have good height and looks. She is not bad in appearance, and is also above average. Although she can't compare with Bai Wuxi's natural beauty, she is also a class flower in her science university. In the monk temple where the ratio of men to women is so large, there is naturally no shortage of suitors. Listening to Wang Yuchen's nonchalant answer, Bai Wuxi sighed helplessly in her heart. She could also find a problem now. Her good friend had too high standards and was a bit materialistic. Suji and Wang Yuchen were high school classmates and were admitted to the same university. According to normal development, the two would definitely be together. Bai Wuxi suddenly thought of Li Yuan's figure and couldn't wait to see him. Yuchen, Li Yuan will be here soon. Let's go downstairs and wait for him. Wang Yuchen looked at the hot sun outside reluctantly and muttered, Li Yuan hasn't arrived yet. The weather is so hot. Let's wait until he arrives. Bai Wuxi was about to answer when she heard the doorbell suddenly ring. Her eyes lit up and she immediately ran to open the door excitedly. When she saw Li Yuan appear at the door, Bai Wuxi couldn't help it anymore. She burst into emotions and immediately rushed over and threw herself into Li Yuan's arms. Honey, I miss you so much, Bai Wuxi murmured, and took the initiative to hug Li Yuan's neck, and put her tempting red lips forward. Li Yuan hugged Bai Wuxi with one hand, and responded to Bai Wuxi's initiative enthusiastically. With the other big hand, he closed the door casually, kissed her, and walked towards the living room. Seeing Bai Wuxi taking the initiative, Li Yuan gave her a passionate kiss and hugged her waist tightly, thinking that the light bulb Wang Yuchen had left. After all, if Wang Yuchen didn't leave, Bai Wuxi wouldn't be so proactive. While kissing, Li Yuan put his hand from Bai Wuxi's back into her clothes, touched her smooth and delicate waist, and began to move towards it. Bai Wuxi moaned, and suddenly woke up from her previous trance. She was shocked and tried to push Li Yuan away. Li Yuan didn't understand what she meant. He hugged Bai Wuxi tightly with his strong arms, and his hands touched the buttons on her back, trying to unbutton them. Wu brother, no no, no, Bai Wuxi's heart was pounding with fear at Li Yuan's action. She wanted to move her mouth away, but was locked tightly by Li Yuan. Li Yuan thought Bai Wuxi was shy, so he ignored her words and continued to act. In the living room, Wang Yuchen stared with her eyes and covered her mouth. Seeing that Li Yuan and Bai Wuxi didn't avoid her at all, she directly heated up in front of her, and even started to take action, and even Bai Weixi's clothes were almost taken off. Suddenly, she felt that she was sprinkled with dog food, which made her cheeks slightly red. She wanted to close her eyes, but she was reluctant to give up this dynamic scene that made her blood boil and her heart itch. They are so impatient. They totally treat me as air. If I'm not here, will they do it right there? Or, I'll go to the balcony to hide, give them some time, and come out after it's done. Wang Yuchen's mind was full of thoughts. She wanted to move away, but it was like she was rooted to the floor, motionless. Just like that, she hugged her arms and watched Li Yuan and Bai Wuxi perform a love action movie in front of her quietly. Li Yuan hugged Bai Wuxi. After Zhong Tingyu and Xia's Haijin in the morning, he was already hungry and thirsty. His body quickly responded. He held Bai Wuxi's lower abdomen, and the other pair of big hands picked up Bai Wuxi by the waist, and prepared to walk towards the bedroom. Suddenly, his tongue hurt. Li Yuan hissed softly, and let go of his mouth. Bai Wuxi finally had a chance to breathe, and glared at Li Yuan fiercely, reminding shyly with blushing cheeks. Not now, Yuchen is here. Listening to Bai Wuxi's shy words, a black question mark face like Nick Young suddenly appeared in Li Yuan's mind. He quickly raised his head and looked towards the living room. I saw Wang Yuchen standing by the balcony, holding a pair of arms, staring at him with strange eyes and snickering strangely. Oh no, why is she still here? Li Yuan felt greatly embarrassed and quickly let go of Bai Wuxi in his arms. If Bai Wuxi hadn't bit his tongue, he would have almost taken off her shirt. When Wang Yuchen saw that Li Yuan had seen him, he couldn't help but tease him. Hey, Li Yuan, Xiaobai, can you two stop being so anxious? You can't help it when you meet in broad daylight. You two are in the same school, so you can see each other often. After saying this, Wang Yuchen's eyes were sharp and she couldn't help but glance at Li Yuan's raised trousers. His cheeks turned slightly red and his heart was beating fast. He quickly looked away, but accidentally glanced at him with his peripheral vision. He secretly muttered to himself, no wonder Li Yuan could find 4 girlfriends. Xiaobai was unwilling to leave him. In addition to financial factors, Li Yuan's physical fitness was also excellent. Li Yuan was about to say something when he noticed Wang Yuchen's meaningful gaze. Looking down, he immediately understood why Wang Yuchen had such a gaze. He looked extremely embarrassed and quickly turned sideways and hid behind Bai Wuxi. Well, Xiaobai, Yuchen is at home, why didn't you tell me earlier? Bai Wuxi rolled her eyes at Li Yuan shyly, and snorted, you have to give people a chance to speak. That's not because you rushed up to me as soon as you saw me. I thought there was no one in the room. I miss you so much. Listening to Li Yuan and Bai Wuxi flirting here, Wang Yuchen felt as if sulfuric acid had been poured into his heart, and his heart was corroded and painful. Okay, you two, stop showing off your affection in front of me. Do you want me to step aside and give you two some time to be intimate? Li Yuan's eyes lit up with a look of expectation. The suggestion put forward by Wang Yuchen was not impossible. It would not be bad to explore human life science and study the origin of mammalian life with Bai Wuxi, and someone would play the flute to help. It would be double the happiness. Bai Wuxi understood Li Yuan's expectant gaze, and pinched Li Yuan's lower abdomen in shame, glared at Li Yuan, and snorted. Brother Stinky, why are your thoughts so unhealthy? Li Yuan expressed his injustice, Xiaobai, I didn't say anything. Huh, that's how your mind must be thinking. How do you prove that I think that? I don't care, you must have thought about it just now. You are guilty of an unfounded crime. You smile so bad, you must be thinking about it. Wang Yuchen looked at Li Yuan and Bai Wuxi bickering with a half smile, maybe Diaoqing would be more appropriate. Please, you two, can you please pay attention to your appearance? There is a single dog in this room, and he is almost full of dog food. Li Yuan put his hands on Bai Weixi's shoulders from behind and pressed them tightly against her back. He glanced at Wang Yuchen and joked with a smile. "Little Pepper, when did you become single? Does Su Daji know?" Wang Yuchen understood the meaning of Li Yuan's words, glanced at Li Yuan meaningfully, straightened up his weight, and asked with a smile. "What, handsome guy Li, are you still going to go to Su Ji's place and file a lawsuit against me?" Li Yuan glanced at Wang Yuchen, shook his head with a smile, and spread his hands indifferently. "I am like a mud bodhisattva crossing the river. I can't protect myself. How can I care about you? But, little Pepper, Daji is deeply devoted to you, so don't let him down." Listening to Li Yuan's words, Wang Yuchen suddenly felt an inexplicable irritability in his heart, and his tone became sharper than polite. "Scumbag Li, what about you? Xiaobai is equally passionate about you, haven't you let her down too?" It was originally just a joke, but Wang Yuchen directly attacked each other. Li Yuan suddenly fell silent and remained silent. There is really nothing to say about this. The originally cheerful atmosphere in the room suddenly became solemn and dangerous. Seeing Li Yuan's silence, Wang Yuchen couldn't hold back the resentment he felt for a long time. It was not only to fight against the injustice of his best friend, but also to vent the unwillingness in his heart. She continued to stare at Li Yuan, teasingly. "Li Yuan, you are still awesome. You have only been in college for more than a month and you have found 3 new girlfriends. You are really a great man. If the confession fails, chase her bestie." Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 362. You must have been very hard to pretend for 3 years in high school. Once you got to college, you started to let yourself go. Are you worthy of Xiaobai? She accompanied you from high school to college, and you treat her like this? Where's your conscience? Has it been eaten by those vixens? Bai Weixi's face suddenly changed as he listened to Wang Yuchen's increasingly excessive words. He quickly winked at Wang Yuchen, signaling her to stop talking. Wang Yuchen seemed not to see it and continued to turn on the taunting mode, with even more fierce firepower output. "Li Yuan, stop pretending to be a good man. Now the whole world knows your scumbag behavior. Admit it. Xiaobai is so stupid. She still believes in you and your love for her. I think you are just attracted by her beauty and don't love Xiaobai at all." Listening to Wang Yuchen's increasingly unpleasant words, Bai Weiqi turned pale and yelled at Wang Yuchen. "Wang Yuchen, stop talking. Things are not what you think." It was the first time that Wang Yuchen heard Bai Weiqi yell at her like this. She showed an unbelievable expression and her voice was a little louder. "Xiaobai, I'm doing this for your own good and to seek justice for you. Why are you yelling at me?" Seeing Bai Weiqi and Wang Yuchen quarreling, Li Yuan's gloomy face suddenly showed a playful smile. Wang Yuchen and Bai Weiqi have a very good relationship. They have been classmates since junior high school. They are the kind of good girlfriends who can talk about anything. Li Yuan has no good feelings towards male, besties. Because, in many cases, it is this kind of besties that will make a good relationship end in a bad way. Bai Weiqi knew in her heart why Li Yuan changed from a loving and good man to what he is now. The fundamental reason is still herself, so she feels guilty towards Li Yuan. "Yuchen, there are some things between Li Yuan and me that are inconvenient to tell you. But there is one thing I can tell you, I have liked him since high school, and it will never change until now and in the future. Li Yuan has always liked me since high school, no matter what happened in the middle, he has never changed. I love him, he loves me too, that's enough." Listening to Bai Weiqi's words, Wang Yuchen's eyes widened, and she looked at the beautiful girl in front of her suspiciously. She was a little suspicious whether Bai Weiqi was brainwashed by Li Yuan. It was funny to say such self-deceiving words. "Xiaobai, you are completely deceiving yourself by saying this. Ask yourself, Can you accept Li Yuan's cheating behavior? Sharing a man with other women. You say this is love, do you believe it yourself? Bai Wuxi frowned and replied coldly. Yuchen, if you still consider me a friend, don't say such things anymore. I only know that I love him and he loves me, that's all. Li Yuan was a little surprised to hear Bai Wuxi's words. Would this sentence come from Bai Wuxi's mouth? Why didn't he believe it? Bai Wuxi's expression was very serious and solemn. Wang Yuchen opened her mouth, sighed in her heart, and finally said nothing. She was afraid of losing this good friend she had known since junior high school. But the dissatisfaction in her heart made Wang Yuchen, who had a hot temper and was nicknamed Little Pepper, look at Bai Wuxi angrily as if she had overturned a jar of vinegar. Okay, Xiaobai, you two are of the same mind, and I am the outsider. Then I, an outsider, will not be a light bulb and delay your work. As he said, Wang Yuchen slammed the door and walked away. Seeing this, Bai Wuxi hurriedly followed him anxiously. In the living room, Li Yuan suddenly felt very funny. In his previous life, Bai Wuxi and Wang Yuchen had a very good relationship from beginning to end. They talked about everything and were bridesmaids at weddings. He didn't expect that in this life, when college life restarted, the two of them would have a conflict in person because of him. Li Yuan smiled and didn't go out to join in the fun. He sat on the sofa, picked up his phone, and flipped through many QQ messages and text messages. Whatever he is now, he is also a boss of a small company, and he is also a great writer of Yuandian Chinese network. He has a lot of things to deal with every day. There are also many high school and college classmates who often chat and leave messages with him on QQ. Li Yuan opened QQ and ignored those unimportant and flirting QQ messages. Starry Sky, Xiahua, I have good news for you. The first physical book of Battle of the Starry Sky has received very good response after its official release. More than 800,000 copies were sold in the first week. Congratulations on your prosperity. Li Yuan looked at the message sent by the editor Starry Sky and smiled slightly. He was quite satisfied with the data. According to the pricing of Shanghai Fangzheng Publishing House, the price of the first hardcover edition of Battle of the Starry Sky is 18.8 yuan per copy. 800,000 copies are 15.04 million yuan. If the profit is divided among several parties, he can also make several million yuan. He has the money for a large flat in Shanghai. Moreover, as his reputation grows, Battle of the Starry Sky will continue to be popular, which will bring him huge profits. This is a hen that lays golden eggs. Li Yuan replied, thank you. When I am free in a few days, let's have a meal together. After replying to the message from Starry Sky, Li Yuan scrolled to the dialogue column with Su Ji again, thinking about what Wang Yuchen had just said. He asked with a thought in his mind. Daji, Xiao Leijiao came to see Xiaobai today. I think she's a little angry recently. Don't you want to find a way to calm her down? Li Yuan had just sent it out when Su Ji replied immediately. Su Ji, brother Yuan, Yuchen went to see her sister-in-law. No wonder I couldn't contact her. She didn't answer my calls or messages. Su Ji, brother Yuan, what do you mean by calming down? Su Ji, could it be that you and Yuchen had a fight? Su Ji, Yuchen has that temper. If she said something unpleasant, don't take it to heart. I apologize for you on his behalf. Su Ji's messages came one after another, and it was obvious that he cared about Wang Yuchen very much. Li Yuan felt inexplicably in his heart. Looking at Su Ji and Wang Yuchen, he was like looking in the mirror. Probably, every boy has had the experience of being infatuated, or being a dog licker. Even the founder, Principal Wang, had been infatuated with a girl. But, they all completed the transformation of their thoughts in the end. This is something that must be experienced in the process of growing up. Even if I say more, Su Ji will not understand. Only personal experience will be unforgettable. Li Yuan replied, "It's okay, it's just a small matter, I'm not such a petty person." Suji, oh, oh, it's okay, Yu Chen speaks without restraint, I'm afraid she will make you angry. Li Yuan, Daji, I seriously remind you that love is a two-way journey, don't let yourself fall too deeply. If you can win it as soon as possible, don't be hung up like this. After Li Yuan said this, it took a while before Suji responded. Suji, brother Yuan, I understand what you said, but I ask myself, I can't let her go, I can't let go of this relationship. I will try harder. If we are really not destined to be together, I will not force it. I will choose to let go and wish her happiness. Li Yuan, okay, as long as you can understand it yourself. Suji, brother Yuan, Bigwandi's stock is rising every day. I heard from others that this is a game. It is about to reach the end. It will be too late if we don't sell it now. Should we sell it now? Li Yuan, wait for a while. Bigwandi's market value is hundreds of billions, and there is still room for growth. I will tell you when it is almost time to sell it. Suji, oh, okay. Brother Yuan, the Zhihu developed by your company is so popular now. It has spread all over our school. One of my roommates has completed the task and won a laptop. When Li Yuan and Suji were chatting on QQ. In the elevator corridor. Bai Wuxi had already pulled Wang Yuchen. After saying something, the relationship between the two people also eased a little. Wang Yuchen looked at Bai Wuxi, who was about to cry, and sighed softly, "Xiao Bai, I'm not saying anything, but you should be more careful in the future." Yeah, Bai Wuxi nodded quickly, holding Wang Yuchen's hand, and whispered, "Yuchen, I'll let Li Yuan take us shopping and buy gifts for Li Yuan's mother." Wang Yuchen was a little tempted, but still shook his head, "Forget it, I just said a few words to him, I'm afraid he will be embarrassed, so I won't go with you. Suji asked me to go to the movies tonight, I've stood her up several times, let's go to accompany him tonight." After Wang Yuchen finished speaking, he looked at Bai Wuxi again and reminded him seriously, "By the way, Xiao Bai, if you really plan to go on with Li Yuan and eventually get married, Li Yuan's parents are very important, you have to grasp it." Bai Wuxi nodded shyly, "I understand, I will behave well." Wang Yuchen, "Okay, you help me take out my bag and mobile phone charger, I'll go back to school first." After Wang Yuchen left, Bai Wuxi sat next to Li Yuan obediently, looking at Li Yuan who was chatting non-stop, hugged his arm, rubbed it with her gifted nana, and said coquettishly, "Hubby, don't be angry, I've already said Yuchen, okay." Li Yuan put down his phone, hugged Bai Wuxi, stood up and pressed on her, put his mouth close to her lips, and smiled mischievously. "That depends on your performance later." Smelling the hormones on Li Yuan, a blush instantly climbed onto Bai Wuxi's flawless and delicate face, her heart was beating, and the things that were about to happen had already emerged in her mind. "Dear handsome men and beautiful women, last month's full 1000 monthly votes, more have been added, please vote for all the handsome guys. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. If the confession fails, chase her bestie." Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 363. Chapter 216 Son, this house is too small to accommodate 3 daughters-in-law. The last time he played poker with Bai Wuxi was at the Yuaniangpo next to the school playground at night. At that time, his situation of cheating on several women had just been exposed on the internet. He used a story from his previous life and a song White Moonlight and Cinnabar Mole to successfully pua Bai Wuxi and let her accept this reality. That day, more than a week has passed. Listening to Bai Weixi's shy tone and her beautiful face that made people salivate, Li Yuan bit Bai Weixi's crystal earlobe and whispered softly. After Bai Weixi heard what Li Yuan said, her face suddenly turned red, like a green and slightly ripe red apple, making people want to take a bite and taste it. Brother, why do you have so many obscene thoughts in your mind? Hee, this is something you must know when studying human life sciences. Okay, give me a word. Humph, only this time. Okay, then go change your clothes first. Bai Weixi rolled her eyes at Li Yuan, blushed shyly and stood up, walking towards the bedroom. Li Yuan followed behind, with a slight smile on his face, and a look of expectation in his eyes. He counted, among the 4 girlfriends now, he and Bai Weixi played poker the most times, and he also developed the most postures. Although it was not as exaggerated as the 108 postures that Big Bear's sister said, he also tried more than 2 digits of new postures, and he was able to develop a new posture this afternoon. After nearly 2 hours, Li Yuan was refreshed and took Bai Weixi's hand and left the Feiqiuefu community. Hubby, let's go to the mall, I want to buy a gift for my aunt. Bai Weixi leaned tightly on Li Yuan, and her walking posture was a bit awkward. What does aunt like? Li Yuan hugged Bai Weixi's waist and smiled. I don't know what she likes. There is nothing missing at home. Just buy one at random. Oh, Bai Weixi said softly, and asked tentatively, then I want to buy a jade bracelet for aunt, will aunt like it? Jade bracelet. Li Yuan was a little surprised. Bai Weixi had a good vision. For the generation of his mother, giving a jade bracelet is indeed a good gift. Zhong Tingyu gave a gold bracelet, Xiao's Haijin gave a full set of gold jewelry he prepared, and Bai Weixi gave a jade bracelet, which was not bad. However, he knew nothing about jade and other knowledge, but vaguely remembered that in the future, jade such as jadeite would have a high appreciation space. Unfortunately, although my physical fitness and learning ability have been greatly improved after my rebirth, I don't have the golden pupils or other plugins written in some urban novels. Otherwise, going to Tianese to gamble on stones is also a good way to make money. Li Yuan smiled and said, okay, let's go to the mall together. As an international metropolis, there is a large mall next to the Feiqiuefu community. Li Yuan took Bai Weixi to the jewelry store and chose a pair of ice glutinous jade bracelets. The shopping process was uneventful. With Li Yuan's current dress, it is difficult to encounter the scene of looking down on others and pretending to be cool and slapping his face. After spending more than 60,000 to buy a pair of jade bracelets, Li Yuan was just about to take Bai Weixi home directly. Suddenly, he glanced and saw a Victoria's Secret underwear store. Li Yuan thought about the battle robe that Bai Weixi wore when he played poker with her in the afternoon. He smiled mischievously and whispered something in Bai Weixi's ear. Hearing Li Yuan's request, Bai Weixi's ears turned red and her beautiful eyes glared at Li Yuan fiercely, but she finally nodded shyly and agreed to Li Yuan's special request. She just became an adult and just entered college. She had just completed the biggest transformation in her life from a young and ignorant girl. She didn't understand many things. In many cases, there are still many girls of this age who are young and ignorant. Just like many female college students, from freshman to senior year, it's like completing a gorgeous turn, so that the senior girls looking back at the freshman girls may not recognize themselves. College life is mainly about the word live. The more you experience, the better you live, and people also learn to package and dress themselves. So, after graduating from college, it is very difficult to experience the kind of youthful and ignorant feelings that are as hot as the sun, and the more you go in the future. Bai Weixi stared at Li Yuan shyly, and said in a serious tone, brother, as long as you like it, I am willing to do it. Li Yuan smiled, touched Bai Weixi's head, and praised with satisfaction. Hey, this is good, my good baby. Brother, should I go buy it now? Bai Weixi looked at Li Yuan expectantly, with a mischievous look in his eyes, "Will you accompany me?" Facing Baiwixi's half-smile, Li Yuan refused seriously. It was a bit too embarrassing for him, a grown man, to go shopping in a women's underwear store. "I'm going to make a phone call and take care of the company's business. You can go shopping by yourself and wear it for me tonight." Baiwixi rolled her eyes at Li Yuan, chuckled, and joked. "Humph, I knew you didn't dare to go, but you still want others to wear it for you to see." Li Yuan's expression did not change at all when Baiwixi teased him, and he said with a smile, "After a while, you can try to open an online shopping platform so that men can also openly choose sexy underwear and adult products for their girlfriends. Physical stores are still not very convenient." Baiwixi asked in confusion, "I remember there is a website called Doubao, which allows online shopping, right? I've seen Mikey use it several times." Li Yuan nodded. "Well, although online shopping websites have appeared, there is still a large market for various reasons, and the peak period is far from coming. In the next few years, the internet field will usher in a period of rapid development, which will bring about earth-shaking changes in the operation mode of the entire society. You are the closest person to me. I will tell you in advance that our company may try to engage in some business in this area in the future. You are studying accounting. If you are interested, you can learn about this knowledge in advance, which may help me in the future." Listening to Li Yuan's future plans, Baiwixi's beautiful eyes brightened. At this moment, Li Yuan seemed to be glowing, which attracted her mind. Confidence, sunshine, maturity. The attraction to her directly reached its peak. Baiwixi nodded seriously, "Yes, yes, yes, I will study and understand it seriously." Li Yuan smiled mischievously, "Then go now, ahem, buy a few more sets, don't care about the price." Baiwixi saw Li Yuan's serious boasting instantly changed to a naughty look, and couldn't help laughing and snorting. "Stinky brother, when you laugh, you feel naughty." As she said, she took out the girl's unique skills, twisted Li Yuan's arm, lowered her head and shyly walked into the Victoria's Secret underwear store next door. Li Yuan touched his chin, looked at Baiwixi's swaying figure, and laughed secretly. "Hee, I can experience a new happy sex life tonight." Half an hour later, Baiwixi came to Li Yuan with a big bag and a red face. "Brother, let's go." Li Yuan glanced at it lightly and vaguely saw one of the lace underwear. His heart was moved. He took Baiwixi's hand and left the mall with a smile. When the two came to Jinxia Villa, Baiwixi was the same as Xia's Haijin. No, she was more nervous than Xia's Haijin. Her body was trembling slightly. She held Li Yuan's arm tightly all the way and kept asking questions. "Brother, what is Auntie's personality like? Is she serious? Is Zixia at home? I'm still a little scared. Will Auntie dislike me? I'm wearing jeans today. Does it seem not formal enough?" Li Yuan touched Baiwixi's head helplessly and could only comfort her with the same words. "Don't worry, my mother will definitely like you. You are so beautiful, so well behaved, and obedient and sensible, don't worry at all." "Brother, but I'm still very worried." Seeing this time, Baiwixi, Xia's Haijin, and Zhong Tingyu saw the nervousness and attention of their parents. Li Yuan suddenly thought of his previous life, when he had brought a blind date home to meet his parents. At that time, he would always remember the disgusted expression of the blind date when he saw his parents. Since then, he has given up the idea of getting married until he was inexplicably reborn. In his previous life, a sentence he saw on Douyin was still fresh in his memory. "Maybach can cure your father's hunchback." Although this may be just an advertising slogan of Maybach, it also directly illustrates a problem. Having money can really cure all diseases. As it is said in I Am Not the God of Medicine, there is only one disease in the world, called poverty disease. When the two came to the door and Li Yuan rang the doorbell, Baiwixi's nervous mood reached the extreme, his palms kept sweating, and his body was straight. Xiaqin knew that Li Yuan would bring Bai Wuxi back today, so she had been waiting at home to see the last daughter-in-law. When the doorbell rang, Xiaqin and Li Zixia opened the door quickly and saw Bai Wuxi, who was holding a gift box. "Auntie, hello. Zixia, we meet again. If the confession fails, chase her bestie." Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 364. Bai Wuxi took the lead to say hello nervously. At the same time, he glanced at Xiaqin from the corner of his eye. The figure in front of him gradually merged with the figure he saw during the college entrance examination. At the same time, Queen Mother Xia was also looking at Bai Wuxi. After just one glance, a satisfied smile appeared on her lips, and she quickly greeted. "Xiao Bai, you are so handsome, come in quickly." Li Zixia was also behind, smiling and saying hello to Bai Wuxi, "Sister Wuxi, long time no see." In the living room, on the sofa, Queen Mother Xia started her traditional skills as a future mother-in-law again, chatting about homely things. "Xiao Bai, where is your family from Baiming?" "Auntie, my family lives in the courtyard of number 4 middle school, very close to Bangsu town. It's really close to the number 4 middle school roundabout. It only takes more than 10 minutes to drive there. I heard Xiao Yuan say that he and you were high school classmates." "Yeah, Auntie, we have been classmates since the first year of high school, and then we were divided into classes in the second year of high school, and we were assigned to the same science class. Hey, let me think about it. One time I went to a parent-teacher meeting and I sat with a tall, fair-looking man. He was on stage to give a speech. That man's eyes and eyebrows were almost the same as yours. Exactly the same, seems to have the same surname of Bai." "Ah. Auntie, you should be talking about my dad. Li Yuan and I were seated at the same table in high school, so when there was a parent-teacher meeting, the parents also sat according to the seats of the students. Let me tell you, it turns out it's your dad. My daughter, your grades are really good. That time, you seemed to be first in the class, much better than Li Yuan." "Auntie, that's not the case. Li Yuan is better at math and science, but I'm pretty good at English and Chinese. In the past, he often helped me with my homework. The two of us pushed each other and learned from each other. Then he's still not as good as you. This kid, Xiao Yuan, has been honest since he was a child. Ahem, your uncle and I left home early and didn't pay much attention to his studies. Fortunately, he didn't delay his homework. Thank you very much for helping us. I watched Li Yuan and didn't let him go out to fool around and imitate bad behavior. Auntie, you're very grateful. Li Yuan is very self-disciplined, very smart, and very talented. He helps me the most. It's good that you two can understand each other and support each other. Now that you are in the same university, you need to get along well. No matter what happens, don't get excited. When you calm down, Auntie will make the decision for you." "Well, thank you, Auntie. Can I come to your house to see you often in the future?" "Of course it doesn't matter. I'm not familiar with the place in Shanghai. If you come to visit me often, it's not too late for Auntie to be happy." "Well, Auntie, I will come to your home often to see you and Zixia." Li Yuan stood aside, listening to the lively chat between Queen Mother Xia and Bai Wuxi, from studying in high school to the customs of their hometown, and from the process of their acquaintance to the local customs. He was very strange in his heart. He had never noticed before that Bai Wuxi could be so eloquent and that he could have such a congenial conversation with a rural woman with a primary school education. It was completely beyond his expectation. In fact, Li Yuan couldn't even get in touch with some of the things they were talking about. He could only pinch Li Zixia's cheek from time to time. Listening to the chat between Bai Wuxi and Queen Mother Xia, Li Yuan felt an illusion in his mind for some reason. It seemed that Bai Wuxi was deliberately picking up some good words and making full preparations, intending to get closer to the Queen Mother Xia. This feeling was something Empress Dowager Xia didn't have when she was chatting with Xia's Haijin and Zhong Tingyu. Li Yuan murmured in his heart, this novice, isn't she going to take the mother-in-law route? Come to overtake in a corner. Bai Wuxi didn't know what Li Yuan was thinking, and was still chatting enthusiastically with Queen Mother Xia. Xiao Bai, let's eat at home tonight. Auntie will cook you some home-cooked food. You haven't had it for a long time, right? Auntie, some time ago, my parents also came to visit me in Shanghai. Oh, your parents came to Shanghai too? Do they know about your relationship with Li Yuan? Auntie, my parents already know and have met Li Yuan. They all praised Li Yuan like a flower. Have you met? That's fine. When the Chinese New Year comes, the two families will sit together again. It won't be easy for you two to go from high school to college. You, Xiao Yuan and Zixia, stay here and let me cook dinner for you. You can have it at home tonight. Auntie, let me help you. Xiao Bai, can you also cook? Well, Auntie, I'm not very good at it. My mother used to do it. But I can learn. It's okay. I have nothing to do when I'm free. It's not difficult to cook. You and Li Yuan can have a good time. While Queen Mother Xia was cooking in the kitchen, Bai Wuxi nervously put her head to Li Yuan's ear and asked nervously. Brother, how did I behave just now? Li Yuan smiled secretly in his heart, touched her head and praised. You're doing so well. If we chat for a little longer, I think you will become my daughter and I will become my son-in-law. Hee, everyone is just doing it for you. Bai Wuxi rolled her eyes at Li Yuan, pursed her lips and snickered. Auntie is just as I thought. She is very kind and easy to get along with. Can I come to see Auntie more often in the future? Li Yuan thought to himself, how can I not know your little thoughts and start to take the diplomatic route? Of course, I will have a lot of things to do in the future and may not have time to go home. Zixia also has to study at night in high school. It will be great if you can come and stay with my mother. After receiving Li Yuan's affirmative answer, Bai Wuxi was greatly relieved. She had already seen a glimmer of hope for victory. During dinner, Bai Wuxi showed her sweet mouth to the fullest, which made Li Yuan look at her sideways. He didn't expect Bai Wuxi to be so good at praising people. Auntie, the braised eggplant you fried is so delicious. The taste is exactly the same as that of the big restaurant next to number 1 middle school. Auntie's cooking skills are really good. Can you teach me in the future? I also want to learn how to cook. This is the potato shreds cut by Zixia. Zixia is really amazing. The potato shreds I cut are like potato cubes, so ugly. Zixia, is this a dish you cooked? It tastes so good. I feel like you can participate in our school's chef competition. After dinner, while Bai Wuxi was going to the bathroom, Queen Mother Xia pulled Li Yuan to the balcony and asked with a serious look. Li Yuan, have you met Xiao Bai's parents? Li Yuan was puzzled when he saw Queen Mother Xia's serious expression. He nodded and explained, well, they came during the National Day holiday, so I went to have a meal with them. Queen Mother Xia frowned, what are you going to do in the future? Li Yuan asked in confusion, what are you going to do? You and Xiao Bai have met each other's parents, which is equivalent to settling down in our hometown. I am also very satisfied with Xiao Bai. I know her inside and out. Her parents are both teachers in the county, and they live very close to our home. After Xiaqin said a lot, Li Yuan frowned. You can't want all three girls, right? You can only choose one to marry in the future. What are your plans? Li Yuan probably understood what Queen Mother Xia meant, spread his hands, and sighed helplessly, Mom, I'm only a freshman, it's too early to talk about marriage now. Xiaqin glanced at Li Yuan and snorted coldly, you are my child, How can I not know what you are thinking? You want all three, right? Li Yuan looked at Queen Mother Xia in surprise, feeling embarrassed as if his thoughts were revealed. He really wanted all of them. Before he could speak, Xia Qin sighed helplessly. Xiao Yuan, Zhong Tingyu, Xia's Haijin, Bai Wuxi, these three girls, each of them is very good, I like them very much. But, I have to remind you, they are all very good, you must handle it well, if something really happens, I will not forgive you. Li Yuan nodded seriously, Mom, I know how to deal with it, you can be a good mother-in-law with peace of mind. Xia Qin thought about it and asked again, do they know your situation? Mom, what are you talking about? I mean, does Xiaobai know Xia's Haijin, Zhong Tingyu, and others? If they don't know yet, once they know, they may not be able to think it through. They know. Xia Qin was shocked to hear Li Yuan admit it himself, and confirmed again and again, Xiao Yuan, you mean, the three of them know each other? Yes. No, Li Yuan must answer. Then how could they be willing? Empress Dowager Xia couldn't figure it out at all. These three girls are all top beautiful girls, and they are also top students from famous universities. How could they accept this situation? Li Yuan smiled, Mom, don't worry about this. Xia Qin sighed, okay, you are successful now, I can't control you even if I want to. But, as a mother, I still remind you that the three of them are good, don't let them down. By the way, didn't you say some time ago that the housing prices in Shanghai will continue to rise? Well, what's wrong? Li Yuan asked in confusion. You have three girlfriends now, and we only have one house, which can't accommodate them at all. You can make money by writing books now, buy a few more houses, so that they will have a place to stay in Shanghai in the future, buy me less gold jewelry, jade bracelets, and the like, and spend the money on serious matters. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 365. Li Yuan smiled, the Queen Mother Xia was indeed his mother, and now she began to think about the future. Mom, don't worry about this. I have money now, a lot of money. I will wait a few days and then buy a bigger house. This house is indeed a bit small. It can't accommodate three girlfriends. When Queen Mother Xia heard this, she glared at Li Yuan. You already have three girlfriends, and you want them to live together? How dare you think about it? However, she still supports Li Yuan's decision to buy a new house. When she returned to her hometown this time and told her relatives and friends that she had bought a big house in Shanghai, the neighbors all praised her. It is said that in big cities, house prices will only rise but not fall, and they will definitely not keep up. It is better to spend money on buying a house than to waste it on eating and drinking. You can see for yourself, I only have one request for you, treat them well and don't let anything happen to them. I know, Mom, you've said it n times. Humph, you bastard, sometimes I really want to strangle you to death. Xiaobai is a nice girl, and she knows everything. When I come back, I will ask your dad to find out about her family. Li Yuan was stunned and asked quickly, Mom, why are you asking about this? We are just in love now. Xia Qin's eyes widened, when it comes to love, haven't you already met Xiaobai's parents? Let me tell you, you can find it in your hometown. Your dad and I don't want to be scolded at the door of our house. Mom, you think too much, how could this happen? Humph, whatever you want, I'm just reminding you. Xiaobai, will you go back tonight, or will you be at home? Let's go back. Not to mention, you can also experience new equipment when you go back. If Bai Wuxi and Queen Mother Xia continue to be together, my mother might just get engaged on the spot. Li Yuan could clearly feel that among the three girls, Zhong, Xia, and Bai, Empress Dowager Xia obviously had a better impression of and recognized Bai Wuxi more. After all, they are one of our own, they know everything about them, and have a natural sense of closeness. Thanks to Tianshan Swordsman for the reward of 500 points, and Times leave songs and paintings of mountains and rivers for the reward of 100 points. Chapter 217 Biwixi's QQ shirt, The Jealous Little Moon. At night, Li Yuan drove Biwixi back to Feiakuofu community. As soon as he entered the door, Li Yuan couldn't hold back the restlessness in his heart and began to become unscrupulous. He directly picked Biwixi up by the waist and threw him onto the big bed in the bedroom. Biwixi quickly pushed Li Yuan away with his hand and exclaimed, "Hubby, you haven't taken a shower yet, I'm going to take a shower first." Li Yuan stepped forward, opened his bow with both hands, and smiled. "It's okay, you don't have to wash it." Biwixi snorted, pushed Li Yuan's heavy body away with force, and said shyly, "Huh, no, if you don't wash it off, you'll easily get gynecological diseases. You should wash it off too." Seeing that Li Yuan was still going his own way, Biwixi became anxious and quickly used his big move. "Husband, do you still want to see me wearing the new underwear I bought today? Want to see it?" Li Yuan's eyes lit up, and the image of Biwixi wearing QQ jersey appeared in his mind, and his breathing became rapid. With Biwixi's figure and appearance, wearing Victoria's Secret QQ underwear will definitely have a unique flavor, which will bring a better P-skill experience, and there will be additional bonuses when playing poker. Biwixi snorted, "Huh, if you want to see it, you have to take a shower first." Li Yuan stood up helplessly, "Hey, okay, let's wash together." Biwixi knew Li Yuan's bad thoughts at a glance and hummed, "No, the bathroom is too crowded. I'll wash first, then you." Li Yuan thought about the last time he performed water magic with Biwixi, and felt a little itchy in his heart. That time, Yang Jinyu, the mother-in-law, seemed to have secretly listened in the corner. Although he wanted to experience water magic again, Biwixi was right. The bathroom in Feiakuofu community is indeed a bit small and not very comfortable. The house is about 160 square meters, excluding the shared area, which is about 130 square meters. It also has 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a large open kitchen, and a transparent living room from the north to the south. This house is indeed a luxury house to most ordinary people, but to him now, it is just ordinary. In his mind, a real luxury house should be a single-family villa with an area of 400 to 500 square meters, or a large single-story or duplex suite with a similar area. This kind of luxury house is worth thousands even at the housing prices in Shanghai in 2008. More than 10,000. For example, when he first arrived in Shanghai, he saw a single-family villa on the riverside with an asking price of more than 20 million. At this time, it was undoubtedly a sky-high luxury house. Of course, if it takes more than 10 years, a 20 million house will be above average in the Magic City, and a 4-bedroom house in a slightly better area in the city will cost 10 to 20 million. The price of single-family villas, top-level flats, and duplexes has to be at least 10 times higher, and you may not be able to buy them yet. They are a symbol of identity and status. Li Yuan patted Biwixi's Qiaotan and reminded, "Xiao Bai, go take a shower then, don't forget to put on your shirt." "Smelly brother, you are so bad." Biwixi snorted, got out of bed quickly, took the new QQ underwear she bought in the afternoon, and shyly ran into the bathroom. Li Yuan touched his chin, looked at the sound of water in the bathroom and the vague figure, and thought to himself, "This house is a bit small, and the bathroom space is too small. Many postures cannot be experienced. At least there should be a super large bathtub and an outdoor swimming pool. In that case, the experience of learning water magic will definitely be greatly improved. The mansions of NBA stars in the ugly country are the real top mansions. Although I can't afford it now, it's time to change to a less expensive mansion. After King of Glory is launched, If the funds are sufficient, maybe we can invest in real estate and build a real super luxury house. Li Yuan was daydreaming while eagerly looking forward to Bai Wuxi's new uniform. After a while, Bai Wuxi came with wet hair and a bathrobe on the outside. Her two long legs came into view. She shyly walked in front of Li Yuan, her heart pounding, and she whispered softly, "Honey, I'm done." "Wait a moment, I'll go take a shower." Li Yuan hurried into the bathroom, and in less than 2 minutes, he finished rinsing and returned to the bedroom. Looking at the beautiful Bai Wuxi, Li Yuan smiled mischievously, and directly reached out to carry the beauty in front of him and threw her on the bed. That night, the lights were on all night long. Li Yuan experienced the power of the QQ version of the battle robe, and Bai Wuxi also tried his best to cooperate. As a result, when he got up the next day, even though he was strong, his waist and abdomen were a little painful. The next day, Li Yuan looked at Bai Wuxi, who was hugging his arm and seemed to be awake, and felt sorry. "Xiaobai, I have something else to do today, so I won't accompany you." After hearing this, Bai Wuxi's beautiful face immediately showed a reluctant look, just like the Sichuan opera face changing. The sexy and charming pair of beautiful eyes became watery, and she looked like she was about to cry, staring at Li Yuan tightly. "Husband, can't you spend more time with me today?" Li Yuan touched Bai Wuxi's head and coughed, "Xiaobai, I really have something to do today. There is a contract at the company that I need to go and negotiate in person." Bai Wuxi looked at Li Yuan with resentment, as if she had eaten a lemon, and said sourly, "I thought you just got up and were going to find her." According to the agreement made by the 4 people on the playground on Friday afternoon, it was Li Yuan's turn to take Zhong Tingyu home to see Queen Mother Xia today. But now it's 8 or 9 in the morning, and Li Yuan is in a hurry to leave. Yesterday, when Li Yuan came to find her, it was already 2 or 3 in the afternoon. This is unfair. Bai Wuxi looked resentful, hugged Li Yuan's arm tightly, and was unwilling to let go. She also wanted to stay with her beloved for a while longer, instead of being alone in an empty room. Li Yuan saw this and smiled, "Oh, such a strong smell of vinegar. Xiaobai, did you secretly break the vinegar jar at home?" Bai Wuxi stared at Li Yuan with tears in her eyes, hugged her arms and acted coquettishly. "I just want you to spend more time with me." Li Yuan pinched Bai Wuxi's face, and immediately lied and explained seriously. "You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 366. Xiaobai, you know that the Zhe website has just been listed, and there are many things that need to be dealt with at the company. It is impossible for me to accompany you 24 hours a day. I am now in the rising period of my career, and it is also a rare and huge opportunity period. For our future, we still have to work harder. In the future, when I make a lot of money, I will change to a real luxury house, the kind with a private swimming pool. Hee, we can also take a bath together." Bai Wuxi just complained subconsciously. Seeing Li Yuan seriously explaining to her and describing the beautiful scene of the future, she was already very satisfied. "Husband, you are already great. Don't make yourself so tired. Take care of your body and rest." Listening to Bai Wuxi's words, Li Yuan still smiled on the surface, but sighed secretly in his heart. Bai Wuxi is a top smart girl, very considerate, never loses her temper, can provide emotional value, can be cute, cool, and can act like a spoiled child. They are high school classmates and childhood sweethearts. In some ways, they are the perfect ideal in the hearts of all men. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been kept hanging for so long in my previous life. It's a pity. Li Yuan smiled and pinched Xiao Bibai. "Hey, Little fool, how is my body? You know better than anyone, right? There was such a big noise last night, and your voice was so loud, probably people next door and downstairs heard it. Baiwixie's pretty face turned red, and she spat, "Stinky brother, if you say it again, I'm really angry." Li Yuan stretched, yawned, and smiled, "Okay, let's not talk about it, you have a good rest at home, and take care of your body. By the way, you worked hard last night." "Well, husband, drive slowly on the road." Baiwixie reluctantly let go of Li Yuan's arm. "Don't worry, I'm an experienced driver." Leaving the community, Li Yuan drove the BMW with one hand, feeling relieved. Except for Zhang Ziyu, who was far away in the imperial capital, the three girls, Zhong Tingyu, Xiaz Haijin, and Baiwixie, have temporarily accepted the current situation. Although they are still jealous of each other, they are generally stable. In the past month since he started college, his emotional experience has been ups and downs, and his rich experience is amazing and jaw-dropping. Similarly, this complex emotional experience has also involved a lot of his energy, making him a little tired to deal with it. Fortunately, after experiencing several Shura fields, his relationship has finally stabilized temporarily. In terms of career, Zhu has been online for 3 days and has achieved unprecedented results in the history of the domestic internet. In just over 2 days, due to the trend caused by online Water Army and Gan Udeo, the cumulative number of registered Zhu users has exceeded 10 million. The number of active users in the past 2 days is around 2 million, which is already a very high number. The company's main goal is to continue to enrich the website content, improve the user experience, and convert these new users into loyal users. Although the current Zhu is not as good as the famous websites such as Qiandu Taiba, the leader in the online forum, it can still be firmly ranked in the top 10 domestic internet forums. This is already a very remarkable achievement, and it is not much worse than some old websites that have been established for many years. The total cost of Zhu from scratch to online operation has exceeded 5 million, including our /U0026D costs, personnel costs, various equipment, and the most expensive publicity and promotion costs. The entrepreneurial base in the school was fully installed yesterday, and the technical test was carried out today, and it can be put into use directly tomorrow. In fact, some merchants have already contacted the company, wanting to advertise on the Zhu website to get a share of the bonus of the explosion, but they were politely declined. Zhu has just been online for 3 days, and it is not the time to put in advertisements. It is easy to affect the experience of new users. If it leads to user loss, it will not be worth the loss. Besides, the profit from advertising was not the main profit method in Li Yuan's mind. He also has a whole set of follow-up development plans. As long as everything goes well, he is likely to get the biggest piece of the pie in the internet field. Li Yuan did not go back to school directly, but went to the company first. As a hard-working worker in his previous life, he could understand the mentality of workers too well. When the boss of the company or the head of the department is not there, they will completely let themselves go and their work efficiency will drop significantly. Although Datang technology has only been established for 2 months, because he does not go to the company every day, there are already some signs of this. The newly recruited receptionist of the company saw Li Yuan suddenly appear, and hurriedly hid his mobile phone behind his back, like a frightened rabbit, and stood up. "Hello, Mr. Li." Li Yuan glanced at the casually dressed company receptionist, with a serious look, and reminded him. "Pay attention to your appearance and manners at work." "Okay, Mr. Li." Li Yuan walked away, thinking of his previous life when he worked in a listed company. Everyone wore standard work clothes. Although it was a bit ugly and would stifle the personality of some girls' clothing, it looked good overall and looked very formal. As of now, the company has 45 formal employees. If we add the part-time college students we recruit, it will reach 60 people. The scale is not small. Every month, the salary expenditure alone is about 300,000 yuan, and there are other expenses. The monthly expenditure alone is about 500,000 yuan. Fortunately, I sold the copyright of the game Battle Starry Sky and made a fortune from the stock market. Otherwise, if I only relied on the income from royalties, I would be a little stretched. Li Yuan sighed, starting a business is really not that simple. I hope that the epoch-making game Honor of Kings can be produced as soon as possible. At this time, 1.5 months have passed since the development of Honor of Kings. The overall framework of the game has been formed, such as the map modeling of several modes in the Canyon of Kings, and the modeling of various heroes, which are also in full swing. The current internet technology is actually very mature, especially in the field of games, it is very developed. What is lacking is creativity and investment, not technology. With my unremitting support and guidance, the development progress of Honor of Kings should be much faster than that of the original Time and Space Riot Company. I hope that after the Chinese New Year, when the second semester of the freshman year begins, it will be officially launched and operated. In the conference room, Li Yuan listened to the reports of Hu Zhenqiang, Lin Yue, Xie Zheng, and others, and checked the various data of the Zhe website and the progress of each group of Honor of Kings on the spot. Lin Yue reported with a smile. Mr. Li, as of now, the number of registered users of Zhe has reached 12,365,458, and there are currently 2,685,649 active users. The number of people who have completed the Cut One Knife task has reached 9,898, and various lottery rewards have been issued. According to our prediction, after the end of today, the number of registered users may reach its peak. If you want to increase it significantly, it will be impossible. Li Yuan nodded. This situation is normal. The current new users are mainly users brought by the Knock It Down model, and the number of active users is just curious about Zhu, or to increase contribution value and get rewards, so it can reach more than 12 million registrations in just over 2 days. The contribution value model I mentioned before will continue to be implemented, and the audit will be strengthened to minimize the bugs that can be exploited by others. Various data should be detected in real time. Once abnormal data is found, it will be tracked and banned immediately. Also, our Zhu has become popular at present, and it is very likely that other companies will be jealous and retaliate in every possible way. You must pay attention to monitoring and report to me immediately if you find any situation. Lin Yue's heart trembled, and she nodded seriously, Mr. Li, I will supervise and check it myself. Well, in general, you have done a good job, and I am very satisfied. These few days are special, and you need to work overtime. The 3 team leaders should do a good job of overtime statistics. When Secretary Xia comes back, I will arrange for her to give you overtime subsidies. If you want the horse to run, you have to feed it. As a worker, Li Yuan deeply understands this truth. The dream of most employees in the company is to make money. Perhaps only Hu Zhenqiang has a higher goal, wanting to make an epoch-making game. Is corporate culture important? Very important. But at this time, it is not a good time to establish corporate culture. When the subsequent businesses are on track and the company starts to make large-scale profits, it may be suitable to improve these soft power. Well, Director Lin, your task is very heavy. Since you have to take care of Zhu, you also have to take care of King of Glory. Character modeling and art, etc., also require you to pay more attention. Lin Yue nodded solemnly, Mr. Li, please rest assured that I will complete the task. Li Yuan looked at several core members of the company in the conference room and smiled. Now the company is not profitable, everyone is working hard to make King of Glory as soon as possible. By then, each of you, I guarantee that each of you can become a millionaire. Hu Zhenqiang, Xie Zheng, and others thought that Li Yuan had financial pressure, and they all became abnormal. "Mr. Li, we have to make King of Glory as soon as possible even if we risk our lives." "Mr. Li, I'm a single dog and I don't have any other hobbies. The company is my home. I will devote 200% of my energy to complete the game production as soon as possible." Li Yuan laughed, "I have seen your efforts. Although work is the ladder to realize our dreams, health is the cornerstone of our dreams. I don't want to be lying on the hospital bed and sighing at the money after you become millionaires. When you work, you should also pay attention to your health, exercise more, and don't exhaust your body. Especially you, Lao Hu, your dark circles are more serious than the national treasure giant panda." Hu Zhenqiang's face rarely blushed, and he nodded shyly. After listening to the report, checking the progress of each group, and unifying ideas, it was almost 11 o'clock in the morning. Li Yuan thought about it and called Zhong Tingyu. In just a few seconds, the call was quickly connected, and Zhong Tingyu's lazy and sexy voice came. "Senior, is there something you want to talk to me about?" Li Yuan was startled, thinking that Zhong Tingyu had forgotten what to do today. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 367. "Little Moon, have you forgotten?" Zhong Tingyu asked back, "What did you forget?" I'm taking you home to meet my mom today." "Oh, senior, you're such a busy guy, you still remember this, I thought you'd forgotten it." Listening to the lemon in Zhong Tingyu's words, Li Yuan sneered. "Haha, so you're mad at me?" "How dare I be mad at you, senior, I just want to meet a certain playboy asshole as soon as possible." "Hee, little moon, where are you now?" "If I say, at your house, would you believe me, senior?" Have you already gone there by yourself?" "Guess." Where are you now?" "I'll drive to pick you up." "Humph, where else?" "Of course I'm in the dormitory. I got up early in the morning, put on beautiful makeup, put on beautiful clothes, and waited for someone." Hee, then okay, I'll go to school to pick you up now." "Yeah." Daxia University, a -1314 female dormitory. Ding Shan, Su Tingro and other roommates saw Zhong Tingyu dressing up seriously in front of the dressing mirror, and couldn't help but joked. "Tingyu, if you wear this outfit, Li Yuan will be shocked. You will definitely get a lot of attention in school. Li Yuan owes us food, but he hasn't said when he will pay me back." Zhong Tingyu smiled. Shan, Tingro, it's almost noon, how about we go together?" Ding Shinshan's eyes lit up, and she was eager to try. "Wouldn't it be inappropriate?" Su Tingro also asked. "It's really not appropriate. You and Li Yuan have been to a world of two. It's not good for the two of us to be light bulbs." Zhong Tingyu blinked and smiled. "It's okay, it's past 11 o'clock, you can go to eat first. After dinner, we'll see what Li Yuan arranges." Ding Shanshan looked at Zhong Tingyu with surprise. "Tingyu, is it really okay? Li Yuan won't be angry, right?" Zhong Tingyu smiled and shook her head. "It's okay, I'll tell him." The two have met several times in the past few days, and they just met yesterday morning. Especially since she has her period, there are some things that can't be done when they are in a world of two. Moreover, Li Yuan had indeed promised to treat Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro to a meal. Ding Shanshan jumped up happily, licked her lips, and said with a smile. Hee, great, we must give Li Yuan a big meal today and let her treat us to a big meal. Su Tingro blinked. "Wait a moment, I will change my clothes too." Downstairs of the girls' dormitory, Li Yuan looked at the Porsche 911 parked on the side of the road. Whenever a student passed by, he seemed to point and talk. Similarly, his reputation and legend would be mentioned again and again. Suddenly, the phone rang. Li Yuan saw that it was Wang Jun, the manager of the real estate company, Calling. Wang Jun greeted respectfully, "Hello, Boss Li, I'm sorry to bother you again." "Nothing, Manager Wang, is there something for me?" "Well, Boss Li, it's like this, the prices of the 10 storefronts you looked at earlier have been negotiated according to your wishes. I would like to ask when you are free to sign the contract." Li Yuan was delighted. "It's negotiated, 10 million. Wang Jun nodded affirmatively. "Well, one of the sellers is willing to give in, 10 storefronts, with a total area of 740 square meters, and a total price of 10 million. This price is already very favorable." Li Yuan smiled. "Okay, I'll check the time and go there in the afternoon." Chapter 218. The girls were shocked. Li Yuan is really rich and inhumane. The girls' dormitory, at the stairs. It was lunchtime, and the number of college students coming and going increased. Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro, one on each side of Zhong Tingyu, looked around happily, looking for Li Yuan. "Hey, there." Ding Shanshan looked at a brand new SUV at the door and said with a smile, "That's Li Yuan's car, it looks pretty cool. The BMW SUV that just came on the market this year must be very good looking." Su Tingro smiled and added, "I thought Li Yuan would drive his super cool Lamborghini. In this way, we can also get a chance to drive Tingyu's sports car." Zhong Tingyu smiled and said, "My car is there. If you want to drive it, just tell me." Su Tingro waved her hand quickly. Hee, I was just joking. Your sports car is too expensive. If a novice driver like us accidentally bumps into it, I can't afford to pay for it even if I sell it." Ding Shanshan was also very surprised. Nodding in agreement, "Yes, tisk tisk, a sports car worth 1.8 million, I heard that even if a layer of paint is scratched, it will cost thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to repair it. My mother only gives me 800 yuan a month for living expenses, which is not even enough to repaint the car." Su Tingro looked at the Porsche 911 sports car parked on the side of the road with envy, and joked, "Even if it is not scratched, we are so poor that we can't even afford to add gas. This kind of sports car seems to need very good gas and is very fuel consuming. Even if it is given to me, I can't afford it at all. It's better for you to drive and take us for a ride one day, Tingyu. We are also people who have ridden in sports cars." Zhong Tingyu smiled. Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro's family conditions are very ordinary. Or in other words, most of the college students at Daxia University come from ordinary families. Those who have good family conditions and can get into 985 universities with good grades are also outstanding in the entire Magic City. This Porsche sports car, she only occasionally drove it out for shopping in the past few days after she untied her knot, and the mileage is very low. The three girls came to Li Yuan's car with laughter. Zhong Tingyu knocked on the passenger window and saw that Li Yuan seemed to be talking to someone on the phone. She was a little panicked, afraid that Li Yuan would suddenly say to her apologetically, "Sorry, I can't accompany you today, I have something to do." Li Yuan glanced sideways and saw Zhong Tingyu's figure appeared in front of him. He quickly pressed the window lift button while talking on the phone. "Manager Wang, let's do this first. We'll go there in the afternoon. You prepare the contract in advance." "Well, I have something to do at noon. I'm not available for the time being. I'll hang up first." Li Yuan hung up the phone with Wang Jun and looked at Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro beside Zhong Tingyu with some surprise. He didn't expect Zhong Tingyu to bring two roommates with her. Pushing the car door open, Li Yuan came in front of the three people and greeted them with a smile. "Xiao Yu, there are two beauties. Long time no see." Ding Shanshan looked at Li Yuan, who was wearing a casual suit and had a handsome appearance, and didn't look like a college student at all, with admiration in her eyes. Just based on Li Yuan's outfit, he would be very attractive to girls in college. Adding his various identities and admirable talents, She really couldn't think of what kind of girl could refuse Li Yuan's pursuit. Otherwise, their two school beauty roommates would not be fascinated by Li Yuan, even though they knew that Li Yuan was a playboy and could not extricate themselves. Ding Shanshan could not help but tease. As expected of the nationally famous founder of Zhihu, Mr. Li has the aura of a business tycoon in this outfit. He, Mr. Li, Tingro and I are here to have a meal and be a light bulb for a while, you don't mind, right? Li Yuan was puzzled, but smiled on the surface, of course not, it's my honor to treat two beauties to dinner. Ding Shanshan curled her lips, this sentence can be used to deceive Tingyu, she is so infatuated with you, she has become a silly love brain. Boss Li, Tingro and I have been waiting for this meal with you for almost a month. Today finally gives us the opportunity, we have to have a big meal. Li Yuan looked a little embarrassed, saying this, as if he was deliberately avoiding them. Did I say I would treat them to a big meal? I think I did say it at some point, but I can't remember. Zhong Tingyu coughed and said something to liven up the atmosphere. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Ken Ru Xiahua. Chapter 368. Ahem, Shan Shan, Tingro, didn't you just say you were going to give Li Yuan a good meal? Think about what we're going to eat for lunch. Li Yuan also smiled and said, I've been busy lately, with all kinds of things to deal with. If you two beauties want to eat anything, just tell me. I'll treat you for lunch today. Wow, Mr. Li is so generous that you can even order food, Ding Shanshan pursed her lips, her eyes lit up. Really, anything is fine. Li Yuan patted his chest and laughed, haha, as long as you don't think about eating wild animals, that's illegal, everything else is fine. Ding Shanshan and the others chuckled, and were amused by Li Yuan's cold joke. They were all college students, and they didn't dare to eat wild animals. Mr. Li, you said it, don't go back on your word, we're going to give you a good meal. Li Yuan nodded, haha, a gentleman keeps his word, so he won't go back on his word. Tell me what you want to eat and I'll arrange it. Ding Shanshan said directly, I heard that there is a very good seafood restaurant in Longjio shopping mall next to our school. I want to try seafood. Tingro, what do you want to eat? Hearing that Ding Shanshan wanted to eat seafood, Su Tingro's eyes also showed anticipation, and nodded in agreement. I haven't eaten seafood much either. It would be great if Mr. Li could invite two ordinary people like us to try seafood. For girls, seafood, Japanese food, Western food, etc. are all very attractive and can be used as check-in locations. The Magic City is located by the sea, and you can often hear about various seafood feasts, and seafood restaurants are not uncommon, but most people can rarely afford them. In their cognition, seafood is already a very high-end food. Ordinary college students like them, unless there are special circumstances, would not be willing to spend a month's living expenses to have a seafood feast. But the person in front of them is a new generation of great writers with a monthly income of 1 million, the most popular founder of Zhihu, and a multimillionaire who casually gave his girlfriend a few $1 million supercars. At this time, if not to ask for money, when else? Ding Shanshan looked at Li Yuan with expectation, Mr. Li, how is it? Li Yuan's expression was very strange. It was not that he thought seafood was expensive. This little money was nothing to him. Rather, he had just gone to the seafood buffet with college classmates such as Xiaz Haijin, Lucia, Li Lanrong, and Dakshan Mei the night before yesterday after the basketball game, and a thrilling thing happened. Why, today, Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro suddenly want to eat seafood. Do girls like seafood so much? He has been a little sick of eating it recently. Seeing that Li Yuan's expression was not right, Zhong Tingyu's heart moved, and he thought of a possibility, and asked with concern. Li Yuan, are you allergic to seafood? We can go eat other things, hot pot, stir fry, Western food, etc. Li Yuan smiled and shook his head, not saying that he had just eaten there the day before yesterday. No, since you all want to eat seafood, then go and try it. The Australian lobster, king crab, and tuna there are pretty good. Hearing that Li Yuan was not allergic to seafood, Zhong Tingyu breathed a sigh of relief, and there was a puzzled look in her eyes. Why did Li Yuan have that expression just now? Ding Shanshan smiled and thanked, okay, thank you handsomely for the seafood dinner. Li Yuan smiled faintly, then let's go. Zhong Tingyu consciously sat in the co-pilot, and Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro sat in the back row. As the saying goes, 3 women make a play. Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro also had a lot to ask Li Yuan, an old acquaintance who sat together to eat on the first day of school, but they never had the chance. Today was also the 3rd time the 3 of them had dinner together. Along the way, Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro were like 100,000 wise, constantly asking Li Yuan questions of this and that, and expressing shock, surprise, and admiration from time to time. Ding Shanshan asked curiously, Li, you are so busy now, do you still have time to write novels every day? Li Yuan smiled, it's okay, I often skip classes, sometimes I sneak back to the dormitory after roll call, and secretly write. Su Tingro asked in surprise, ah. Aren't you afraid of being caught by the teacher and then failing the course? Li Yuan shrugged, I'm afraid, there is no other way, I can't help making money, there is always a trade-off between the two. Thinking of Li Yuan's monthly income of 1 million, Ding Shanshan couldn't help but sigh. That's right, you make $1 million a month writing novels, even if you don't go to college, you can be financially free. Failure is also failure, but it's just a matter of a diploma. If I were as rich as you, why would I go to university? I would just travel everywhere every day. The world is so big, I want to see it. My wallet is so small, I can't go anywhere. Su Tingro shook her head and asked, Li Yuan, you are so amazing. You write novels and songs, and now you have created Zhihu. Now you are a celebrity in Arsia University. Maybe you will become the signboard of Arsia University in the future. The school should not let you fail the course, right? Li Yuan thought about the conversation with Vice President Ma Tengfei that day, and had a vague guess in his heart that Xia University might want to support him in college students' entrepreneurship. But as for whether he would fail the course, I don't know. Anyway, as long as he doesn't fall out with the school, he will definitely get a university diploma. I don't know either. When the exam comes, I will try to cram more. Ding Shanshan suddenly glanced at Zhong Tingyu and joked, Li Yuan, I'll give you a tip. It's useless to cram at the last minute, but hugging someone's feet is still possible. Right, Tingyu? Being teased by her roommate, Zhong Tingyu blushed and looked a little strange. She thought of some of Li Yuan's special habits when they were together. It is indeed possible to hug feet. Not only hug, but also use feet. Li Yuan looked very surprised. This Ding Shanshan is something. She can even guess his future plans. With 3 diligent and studious girlfriends, one of whom is his classmate, what a great learning resource. When the final exam is approaching, shouldn't he have a deeper exchange with them and discuss learning experiences? By the way, Mr. Li, how did you think of setting up a website? I heard that you spent a lot of money on the Ganyi Dao on Zhihu. How does this kind of website make money? Li Dakeze, can you go and record a few songs and put them online? We want to listen to your songs. The sound quality of those songs is a bit poor. I heard that our school will also hold a New Year's Eve party at the end of December, which is also a welcome party. Will you sing on stage? Tingyu sings very well, and you can also sing on stage with Tingyu. The school issued an announcement that our school's student union and youth league, as well as various clubs, will recruit new members next week. Li Dakeze, will you join the student union? I feel that you can be the president of the student union in the future. Along the way, Ding Shanshan always had many topics in her mouth and kept asking questions, which surprised Li Yuan. Amid laughter and joy, one man and three women soon came to the old place of Longjia building again. As a recent regular customer, Li Yuan always felt that the cashier lady at the seafood restaurant looked at him with a strange look. "Sir, welcome to our store again. How many people are there today?" "There are private rooms inside." "Ahem, just 4. "Okay, sir, our store has launched a VIP customer activity for old customers like you, handsome guy. If you spend a total of 10,000 yuan, you can automatically become a VIP customer of our store and enjoy a 18% discount on meals," the cashier lady introduced with a professional smile. "Sir, can you leave your information so that we can register and apply for a VIP card for you?" Li Yuan wanted to refuse directly, but suddenly thought that he should have many opportunities to eat at the seafood restaurant during his 4 years in college. This seafood restaurant has always been doing well. Before he left the Magic City in his previous life, the business was always booming. It has only been more than a month, and he has come to the seafood restaurant to spend many times, with a consumption amount of more than 10,000 yuan. In the future, there are still 4 years of college, and there will be more opportunities to spend. Ahem, sure. After Li Yuan finished speaking, he smiled at Zhong Tingyu and said, "Xiao Yu, you go in and get the food first, I'll register my personal information." Zhong Tingyu looked at Li Yuan's figure and smiled sweetly, wondering in her heart, has Li Yuan come so many times? Ding Shanshan whispered, "Tingyu, Tingro, the price here is so expensive, 668 per person, I was so scared that I didn't dare to speak just now." Su Tingro had the same expression, "This is just Li Yuan's treat. If it were me, I wouldn't dare to go in. One person needs a month's living expenses, and the 4 of us need half a year's living expenses. It's too exaggerated." Zhong Tingyu smiled and said nothing, thinking, if you knew that Li Yuan's copyright income from a book was more than 40 million, you would be so shocked that you couldn't close your mouth. Invite Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro to eat seafood dinner. Li Yuan wanted to ask, "Are you two going back now?" But he didn't dare to speak. With 2 light bulbs around, he always felt a little weird, and he was restrained and could only hold Zhong Tingyu's hand. When driving, he was embarrassed to touch her thighs. Zhong Tingyu looked at Li Yuan's expression and roughly guessed what he was thinking. However, it was really inconvenient to have her period these 2 days. "Xiao Yu, 2 beauties, do you have any plans after dinner?" Li Yuan asked. He had an appointment with Wang Jun in the afternoon to sign a contract. As for taking Zhong Tingyu home to see Queen Mother Xia, it was not necessary. They had already met and had dinner together the day before yesterday. That was just to prevent Baiwixi and Xia's Haijin from thinking too much under the circumstances at that time. Ding Shanshan pursed her lips and chuckled, jokingly, "Li Yuan, why don't Tingro and I go back to school first, so that we won't continue to be light bulbs around you and delay your date with Tingyu? You two can enjoy your 2-person world." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Ken Ru Xiahua. Chapter 369. Su Tingro also smiled and thanked her, "Thank you, Mr. Li, for the seafood dinner. It tastes really good." Li Yuan smiled and said nothing, looked at Zhong Tingyu, and scratched her palm with his fingers. Zhong Tingyu's pretty face turned red, she rolled her eyes at Li Yuan, bit her lip, and asked, "Senior, do you have anything else to do this afternoon?" Li Yuan nodded, "As for the milk tea shop I told you before, I need to sign a contract and take a look at the decoration plan. Are you coming with me?" Or are you going shopping with two classmates, Shan Shan and Ting Ro? Zhong Tingyu glanced at Li Yuan with inexplicable expectations in her heart. This was the milk tea brand established by Li Yuan and her, so she naturally attached great importance to it. I'll come with you. Ding Shanshan listened to what the two said and asked curiously, Li Yuan, Tingyu, what milk tea shop are you two talking about? It's about signing a contract and decorating it. How come I'm so confused when I hear it? Li Yuan smiled and said, haha, it's nothing. I'm just planning to open a milk tea shop, just like the ones in our school like Junyu, Too Sweet, and Cha Shu Taimang. Ding Shanshan looked surprised and continued to ask, what? Li Yuan, you want to open a milk tea shop? Why do I feel it's a bit inconsistent? You are not running an internet company. The Zhe website is very good. Why are you making milk tea again? Li Yuan took Zhong Tingyu's hand and said with a smile. This milk tea shop is jointly opened by Tingyu and I. It's a gift for her. I am the boss and she is the boss's wife. Zhong Tingyu smiled sweetly, with a sweet smile on her lips, and explained. The situation is like this. Li Yuan said that the milk tea industry will develop rapidly in the future, so the two of us joined forces to open a milk tea shop. Listening to Zhong Tingyu's explanation, Ding Shanshan covered her mouth in surprise and exclaimed. Wow, Li Yuan, you are so romantic. People always give gifts. You just give Tingyu a milk tea shop. Where is this milk tea shop? I want to visit it too. Li Yuan smiled and said, the locations of the 10 milk tea shops have been selected. We are just waiting for the signing of the contract and transfer of ownership this afternoon. Then we will renovate. It may take at least 1 or 2 months. What, did I hear that right? 10 milk tea shops? Not one. Ding Shanshan's eyes widened and her mouth opened wide, doubting that she had heard wrongly. Li Yuan nodded, well, we will invest in 10 stores in the first batch. We will see the results after operation. Then we will gradually expand the scale and strive to establish a nationally famous milk tea brand in the future. Seeing Li Yuan's personal confirmation, both Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro looked shocked. Let me go, Li Yuan, you are too treacherous and inhumane. You opened 10 milk tea shops in one move. It's too exaggerated. Hee, is this the betrothal gift you will give Tingyu in the future? Zhong Tingyu's pretty face turned red, and she looked at Li Yuan affectionately, her heart beating rapidly. According to what Li Yuan originally told her, this milk tea brand was indeed established for her, and it could be said that it was a betrothal gift. Ding Shanshan was amazed when she saw Zhong Tingyu's shy and understanding expression. No wonder a few days ago, I saw that Tingyu often reads some information about milk tea on the internet. When I asked her, she was still mysterious and didn't say anything. Hee, when your milk tea shop opens, I must take good care of the business. Li Yuan, Tingyu, if you go to sign the contract and see the decoration, can you take us to see it too? Li Yuan smiled and said, okay. There is a store in Longjia building, and I plan to be the head store. The milk tea brand he wants to establish is not a simple model like that found in schools, but a complete set of processes including production lines, R/U0026D departments, freight logistics, etc. Only in this way can it become bigger and stronger and strive to be listed on the market. It is said that it is a milk tea shop, but it is more like a chain catering company, just like KFC and McDonald's. Let Tea Beauty and Moonlight become the benchmark of the milk tea industry. Once the brand effect is established, future development will be easy. The 10 stores in Shanghai are just the beginning, and there will be more stores and franchise stores in the future. It's ready over there, let's go over and sign the contract now. Zhong Tingyu smiled, and suddenly there was more expectation in her heart. Li Yuan drove 3 girls to the real estate company. Far away, the real estate manager Wang Jun, wearing a suit and tie, was waiting eagerly at the door. Seeing Li Yuan's car stopped, he quickly stepped forward to say hello. "Mr. Li, everything is ready. Please come with me." Li Yuan held Zhong Tingyu's hand and walked into the real estate company again with a smile. Since entering the magical city in mid-August, he has purchased 7 houses and a 1-story office building with his powerful real estate company, spending a total of 10 to 20 million yuan. In this era, he is worthy of his name. Big customer. "Mr. Li, 3 beauties are invited to the VIP room here. The VIP room is very spacious, and there are some exquisite imported fruits. Tea and coffee have also been poured, and the aroma is overflowing. Mr. Li, this is the contract drawn up by our company. Because there are 10 stores, there are a total of 10 contracts, and the total contract value is 10 million yuan. Li Yuan sat at the main seat with a calm expression, sipping tea with a smile, and listened to Wang Jun introducing the contract in detail. Zhong Tingyu also looked gentle, dignified, and generous, tasting coffee calmly on the side. Only 2 freshman girls, Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro, sat upright, listening to the person in front of them introducing the contract with shocked expressions. When they heard the contract amount of 10 million, their bodies could not help but tremble. The 2 looked at each other, and in their eye contact, they seemed to be saying the same thing. "Li Yuan, you are so rich and inhumane. Chapter 219 Do the most romantic thing with you." Seeing Li Yuan sign the contract readily, notifying the bank by phone, completing a series of operations such as transfer. The 2 girls who had just entered college were stunned with shock. What you hear and what you see are completely different experiences. The former will only be regarded as a story heard, while the latter is a personal experience that can be boasted about. When Wang Jun saw Li Yuan sign the contract readily, a big stone in his heart fell quietly. For the 10 stores selected by Li Yuan, he also communicated with different owners for more than half a month and wore out his lips. "Mr. Li, just like last time, the property ownership certificate can be obtained within a week. From now on, these 10 stores belong to you." Li Yuan smiled and nodded. Investing in a milk tea shop is equivalent to investing in a shop, and there is still a lot of room for appreciation. Anyway, just like investing in stocks such as Biguandi, fruit, mutai, and tea soon, investing in real estate in the capital, the Magic City, and Shenzhen is also a sure win business. There is no risk at all. Just wait for the rise. This is the general trend that any reborn person knows, and it is also very easy to make money. In fact, he can completely leverage assets and apply for large loans from banks. With the current qualifications of Datang Technology Company, it is not that he cannot get a loan, but he just doesn't want to do that. The bank loan procedure is very complicated and requires capital verification. Before, he was just an out-of-town college student who had just turned 18. Even if he wanted to borrow tens of millions, it was not so easy. Now with Zhihu, a currently popular online product, major banks should be happy to lend him money. "Okay, do it as soon as possible," Li Yuan said, and suddenly thought of the house change he had been thinking about last night. 2 houses in Jingxia Villa, 1 in Feiqiuai Mansion, and 1 in Jiangnanyuan, these 4 finely decorated houses, although the area is about 150-165 square meters, are not really luxury houses. Since his rebirth, Li Yuan has earned nearly 80 million yuan in total through sports lottery profits, stock market profits, royalties, and copyright transfer income. Excluding the 12 million yuan that has been used to buy 7 houses, the 10 million yuan for starting a company, including the down payment for the office building, the 4 million yuan for buying a car, the 20 million yuan invested in the Biguandi stock market, and the 10 million yuan just spent, he still has more than 20 million yuan in cash in his bank account. This money, in addition to investing in the decoration of the milk tea shop and product development, may cost several million yuan, and the rest will not be used for the time being. Even if it is really difficult to turn around, the Bigandi stocks that are now worth over 100 million yuan can be sold. After Li Yuan calculated this, his eyes lit up and he muttered to himself, I said I am a real billionaire, there is no problem at all. Hey, an 18-year-old billionaire, a self-made rich first generation, can be considered a small achievement, right? In this era, there are many rich people, but young rich people are very rare. And young billionaires like him, who are young, handsome, and talented, are also rare in the whole of China. Moreover, his assets are basically high-quality assets such as real estate. If all this money is invested in real estate at this time, he will become a super rich man with a net worth of at least 1 billion in less than 10 years. Li Yuan thought about it and asked again. Manager Wang, does your company have any good large flats or duplexes? Wang Jun was just negotiating a deal, and in his secret surprise, he heard Li Yuan put forward a new request. He was shocked. Is this another pie in the sky? This second-generation rich man with unfathomable strength in front of him wants to buy a house. Wang Jun glanced at Zhong Tingyu, who was sitting next to Li Yuan and holding his hand. He was secretly envious. Only such a young and beautiful super beauty could be Mr. Li's girlfriend. Mr. Li, our company has a lot of houses, not only in Shanghai, but also in the entire Yangtze River Delta. I wonder what your requirements are for the house. Li Yuan smiled and stated his requirements. It should be located in the downtown area of Shanghai, preferably not far from Daxia University, with an area of more than 300 square meters. It can be a large flat, or a duplex, or a villa. Listening to Li Yuan's requirements, not only Wang Jun was shocked, but even Zhong Tingyu, Ding Shanshan, and Su Tingro were secretly shocked. They all knew that the average price of housing in Shanghai was 8,000 plus square meter. If it was located in the downtown area, depending on the location, the price would be even higher, possibly reaching more than 10,000, or even 20,000 or 30,000. Mr. Li, our company certainly has such a house, but it may take a few days to contact. Once the contact is made, I will visit you in person and show you the house. What do you think? Okay, Li Yuan was a little disappointed. He thought he could see the ready-made house today. If the confession fails, chase her bestie. Author, Ren Shenkui Kan Ru Xiahua. Chapter 370. However, buying a house is still a small matter for the time being. If you really want to invest in real estate on a large scale, you have to wait until King of Glory is launched next year. If there is sufficient cash flow by then, many things can be done. Now, the funds are still a bit stretched. He dare not get involved in industries that will be popular in the future, such as takeout, online shopping, and taxi hailing. These industries are too expensive. Without tens of billions of funds to burn, you can't beat those old companies at all. Moreover, Li Yuan is very self-aware. In his two lives, he is just an ordinary person with average emotional intelligence. In his previous life, he was a complete rookie in the business world. In this life, he has just started to get in touch with the business world and has not encountered real setbacks and competition. Of course, he also knows what it was originally. The core reason is that it did not generate profits. Zhu has just been launched and has not posed a threat to those competitors. Manager Wang, we have something to do, so we'll leave first. Li Yuan stood up, took Zhong Tingyu's hand, and said goodbye with a smile. Wang Jun also stood up quickly. Mr. Li, will you sit down for a while? No. Li Yuan glanced at Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro, who looked dazed, and reminded them. My two classmates, let's go. Oh, Ding Shanshan finally woke up from her dream, stammering in response, and her eyes changed again and again when she looked at Li Yuan. After Li Yuan and his friends left. As soon as Wang Jun entered the room, he was surrounded by several female property managers. Brother Wang, Who was that young man just now? I saw you were so respectful to him. Brother Wang has long trained a pair of sharp eyes, and he can judge people and serve them well. This handsome young man should be a rich second generation. His appearance and figure are really good, but I don't know how rich he is. That tall girl is also very beautiful, just like a fairy in a painting. I think she is more beautiful than many female stars. Brother Wang, what business did that handsome young man want to discuss with you? You look so happy. Wang Jun listened to the chattering of his female colleagues and couldn't help but smile. Whether colleagues are enemies or competitors, he naturally would not tell these vixen about the situation of Li Yuan, a big customer. If they knew the true situation of Li Yuan, they would scramble to pounce on him and find ways to climb into the bed of this handsome young man. Although, he did not think that the few little-looking foxy girls in front of him could catch Li Yuan's eye. After all, Li Yuan's girlfriend was too beautiful. But he was afraid of the worst. If one of them really succeeded, the $10 million order would fly away like a cooked duck. Since mid-August, in the past 2 months, Li Yuan has completed more than 30 million real estate transactions with him. The luxury house to be seen this time is likely to be another 10 million level business. As a real estate manager, he also made a lot of money. Wang Jun was very sure that Li Yuan's net worth must be at least more than 100 million yuan, and he was a real billionaire. Wang Jun showed a professional smile and perfunctorily replied, "Haha, we talked about a little business. I'll go prepare the information and you guys can talk slowly." Looking at the file box that Wang Jun was holding tightly, several female salesmen looked strange and whispered, "I'm sure that Brother Wang must have signed another big order, he walks like the wind. Who is that young handsome guy? Can any of you sisters get his information? For some reason, I think he looks familiar, as if I've seen him somewhere, but I can't remember where. He seems to be a very famous person. I really want to meet such a young, handsome, and rich big client. Yesterday I met an old man with a small house of 80 square meters. He was still dawdling for a long time, constantly touching me, and wanted to do that with me, but I didn't know. I feel disgusted, I don't know if I can still lift it, old pervert. Hee, if the target is this handsome guy just now, I am willing to consider it even if I am forced to do it once. Hee, I will go to test Brother Wang's attitude. My performance this month is still far from the standard set by the boss." In the car, Zhong Tingyu asked curiously, "Senior, where are we going now?" Li Yuan smiled and said, "I don't have anything serious, where do you want to go?" Zhong Tingyu turned around and glanced at Ding Shanshan and Su Tingro. "Shanshan, Tingro, are you still with us?" Ding Shanshan waved her hand and joked, "No, let's go back to school. We have been a light bulb for half a day. If we continue to be a light bulb, Mr. Li will be angry." Su Tingro also meant the same thing, "Let's go back first, you two can go to a world of two." Li Yuan smiled and did not continue to persuade him to stay. Although there were 2 more girls, there were more laughter and joy, but it was indeed a bit inconvenient and made him feel constrained. "Okay, I'll take you back to school." Ding Shanshan smiled and said, "No, we can just take a taxi back, you can go to work." Ding Shanshan deliberately emphasized the word work and said it, and deliberately glanced at Zhong Tingyu meaningfully, the meaning was self-evident. Zhong Tingyu blushed slightly when she saw her roommate's joke. Every time she was with Li Yuan, she did have some work to do. After the 2 light bulbs got off the car, Li Yuan glanced at the claws along the way, and finally got free. He put them on Zhong Tingyu's long legs without hesitation, measuring the length and smoothness of this life-threatening long leg. Zhong Tingyu moaned, her cheeks flushed, and gently patted Li Yuan's claws. Just now, Li Yuan's hand touched the sanitary napkin she was wearing. She thought Li Yuan didn't believe that she had her period, so she rolled her eyes at Li Yuan fiercely and snorted. "Stinky Senior, how can I lie to you? Xiao Yu, you misunderstood, I definitely believe you. Then why are you touching it? Ahem, I touched it accidentally. Haha, senior, do you think I believe it? Li Yuan looked at Zhong Tingyu's playful and shy smile, his expression was a little embarrassed, he really didn't mean it, and he didn't mean to verify it at all. Xiao Yu, where do you want to go later? Watch a movie, go shopping, go to the amusement park, or go to a concert, choose one. Listening to Li Yuan's skillful change of subject, Zhong Tingyu chuckled and spoke with a smile. Senior, I can do whatever you want. Whatever? Li Yuan almost blurted out the word whatever. Thinking of the roll of eyes from his girlfriends every time he said whatever in his previous life, he decisively swallowed the two words back. It seems that there are no good movies recently. I have already seen Wall-E. It's a bit late to go to the amusement park now, and it's a bit early to go shopping. How about going to a concert? As for concerts, Li Yuan did go to several times in his previous life. I can only say that the atmosphere on the scene is very lively. If a couple goes to a concert together, it is also a good choice. Zhong Tingyu's singing is also very nice. The dance under the moonlight on the playground is still fresh in his memory. In addition, Li Yuan has a subconscious idea in his heart. Now that he is financially free, he can accompany them more to experience various colorful lives. If you meet up with a few girlfriends just to play poker, what's the difference between you and a stud? If this goes on for a long time, the feelings will definitely fade. He wants to do all the most romantic things with them, so that there will be no regrets in life. Listening to Li Yuan's analysis, Zhong Tingyu felt very sweet in her heart, with a happy smile on her face. Going to a concert, that's fine, but is there a concert today? Li Yuan touched his head and smiled awkwardly. I really don't know about this, but you can look for it. There are so many singers at home and abroad, and there should be quite a lot of them coming to Shanghai to perform. By the way, Xiao Yu, which singer's song do you like? Zhong Tingyu blinked her eyes and answered lightly, me, I like the song of Born Like a Summer Flower. Born Like a Summer Flower, Li Yuan was stunned, and then he thought, isn't this referring to himself? Little Moon, be serious, I don't sing well. Zhong Tingyu looked at Li Yuan affectionately, but, I'm just telling the truth. Other girls can like Brother Xiaohua's songs, so can I. Li Yuan suddenly smelled a hint of danger from this sentence. Brother Xiaohua is Xiao Yuer's exclusive name for himself. This jealous little moon is going to be jealous again? Li Yuan smiled awkwardly, haha, of course, I will sing for you when we go to bed at night. Which singer's concert shall we go to now? Zhong Tingyu smiled secretly, hee hee, it's alright. Okay, I'll search on the internet. Li Yuan parked the car on the side of the road, picked up his mobile phone, and began to search for the situation of the concert in Shanghai today. Suddenly, a piece of news appeared in Li Yuan's field of vision. Jay's World Tour concert will be held at Shanghai Stadium at 6 p.m. on October 18. Li Yuan's eyes lit up and he became interested. If it was a concert of another singer he was not familiar with, he might not be interested, but this was Jay Chou's, that was different. Jay Zhou was one of his favorite male singers. Li Yuan raised his phone and gestured to Zhong Tingyu, and said excitedly, Xiao Yu, there will be a Jay Zhou concert at the Magic City Stadium at 6 o'clock in the evening. Do you want to go and listen? Zhong Tingyu's eyes suddenly lit up when she heard it. Among male singers, she also liked Jay Zhou more.